Let's bring in Marc Thiessen now. He's got some thoughts on all of this. So here we have President Biden encouraging boycotts by businesses of the state of Georgia because of their voting law. But we have the State Department doing everything it can, and the press secretary, to run back as quickly as possible from what Ned Price said earlier, which was, yes, we're consulting with our allies about a potential boycott of the Beijing Olympics. The signal, no, we're not, has gone out loud from the White House and other agencies. Mark, what do you make of that?
It's just amazing. Look, I don't know if we should boycott the Beijing Olympics. It would hurt a lot of American athletes. I'm not a big fan of bringing politics and sports together, but I guess it's the Biden administration that's combining politics and sports. As you pointed out, you can't be for pulling the all-star game out of Georgia, as President Biden did, over its election law, but then be fine with the Olympics going forward in communist China, a country that has no free election and is actually suppressing free elections in Hong Kong as we speak.
And then you have this idea of some major corporations like Coca-Cola who are chastising the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, as well as Republicans in the legislature there for passing that voting law, while at the same time being a big sponsor of the Beijing Olympics. You have other companies like Nike, Coca-Cola as well, Apple, all concerned about this bill that would limit the importation to the United States of products that were made with forced labor in Xinjiang province. I mean, there seems to be at least a little bit of a double standard at work here.
No doubt. I mean, look, there's the political hypocrisy and then there's the corporate hypocrisy. At the American Enterprise Institute, we did an analysis of the 200 or so companies that signed that letter opposing the Georgia election law and urging other states not to repeat it. 42 of them are doing business in China, in communist China. 42. You know, you've got Major League Baseball, which just pulled the All-Star game from Georgia. The same week they did that, they signed a deal with Tencent, the Chinese company that is helping the Chinese Communist Party suppress free speech in China. So, I mean, you know, all of these companies are absolute hypocrites. They're doing, and by the way, Major League Baseball, which won't play an All-Star game in Georgia, but did send the Tampa Bay Rays to play in communist Cuba in 2016, and said that this was a great opportunity for us to improve human-to-human relations across the Florida Straits. This is Cuba, a country that has no free elections, where dissidents are jailed, people in political prisons, and they're fine with that. But you can't have an all-star game in Georgia. It's just utter corporate hypocrisy. So
what do you think is going to be the upshot of what you call this corporate hypocrisy? Will there be a backlash from the right because of it?
There should be. I mean, and look, again, as you mentioned at the beginning of this, there are different levels of boycott. I don't think that we should not send our athletes to Beijing, but certainly there should be a diplomatic boycott, and that's what Mitt Romney and Mitt Romney and Ted Cruz have proposed, and also a corporate boycott, saying that the corporations can't sponsor the Olympics. They should not be pouring money into communist China and making this a for-profit venture for the Chinese Communist Party, and a whitewash. And then also the other thing we quite frankly need to do is we need to use the Olympics, if they go forward, as an opportunity to shine an uncomfortable spotlight on all of Beijing's policies, on the million Uyghurs who are in concentration camps, the forced rape, systematic rape and forced sterilization of Uyghur women, and what they're doing to the people of Hong Kong. These should be a focus. This should be a very bad day for Beijing if these Olympics go forward. But the corporate media will never go along and shine that spotlight because they're too entrenched.
Yeah, and at the moment they're too focused on the state of Georgia, maybe some other places within our borders as well. Marc Thiessen, as always, good to see you. Thanks so much.